All right, gang, Carlton here, your crypto pro.
Yay!
And we are going to explain what the research group is all about so we can understand the purpose and the goal so we can all get rich. So let's jump through this presentation and you can use this as a guide if you want to participate in the group so we can all understand what's going on here. All right, so jumping right into it, here is the purpose. It is to discover new legitimate crypto projects in their infancy before they become widely discovered and grow 1000x or more in price. I found BPro at like 0.0003. There might have been another zero in there, but I found it at the end of January. That project went 1000x to the peak by the time it hit the market peak. I swore that I would never let another project go before me like that again, that I knew was legit without jumping on board. And that's how I created this whole method. All right, so we're going to break down what the method is and give it a total overview. Now, here's the group goal. This is why I started the group. Specifically to reduce the time it takes to find new projects that have that 1000x potential from the target centralized exchanges. We'll get into more of that in a minute. This is a group effort. All right, let me be clear on what this is not. This is not a place to lurk for project ideas. There's a lot of people that are in this group and they don't do anything and provide any input. And I'll probably be removing the quiet lurkers because this is not meant to be something that you can just be a spectator. This is not a place for off-topic discussions. It is very specific. We're not here to just jibber jabber. We can talk in general in the main group, but this is a very, very focused discussion, strictly by the criteria of what we set in the method. And it is not an open discussion forum for all projects. We don't talk about other things that don't meet the criteria for this specific group. We really need to have several groups. Like I've got a meme project group where I only discuss memes. I might start a pancrap slop group in the future. Who knows? But this is not an open discussion forum. It is only for the projects within the scope of what we're looking at. This is also not a place, well, I just said that. This is not a place to suggest DEX projects. We're not doing those here. That's for another group. We have to keep the focus here so that we can accomplish the goal, which is not letting another BPro run through these target exchanges without us being fully aware and getting rich from it. And last but not least, this is not for the non-USDT trading pairs. And the reason is I do TA, right? And doing TA on BTC and ETH pairs, it's not the same as USDT because you're comparing the growth as it relates to the BTC growth or as it relates to the ETH growth. And when you have two changing factors, that's like two variables in an equation, it becomes very convoluted. Well, at any rate, there's not enough time to do those. We're only going to do the USDT projects. And last but not least, this group is not financial advice. I have to say that. Now, here's the focus. Projects that are less than a cent. Okay? Preferably with several zeros in front of that one. I like the 100th to 1,000th or less of a cent. We want the ones in the infancy that are legit that we can get the 1000x on. If it's greater than a cent, discuss it on the main board. It's not for this group because there's just too many out there. There's 10 million different crypto projects out there. We can't look at them all. That's why I'm cutting this down, the criteria, so we can manage to get through all of the club banger projects that bring those massive gains. All right. It is also, the focus is on the projects that meet this specific criteria. And I'm a stickler about that. We want to maximize the future price potential, or the maximum future price potential is the focus. The ones that have not yet had that large leap, and that's mainly the small cap projects. And then it is seriously, guys, focused only on the target centralized exchanges. We'll get into that next. Here they are, right here. That would be KuCoin, Bilaxy, and Hotbit. The reason why we're only doing these three is because it's a lot of work. And right now, we don't have enough people who are monitoring these exchanges to sound the alarm when a new project is listed that meets the criteria. All right. I spend sometimes hours in a day running through those 3 exchanges trying to find projects and even looking over the old ones to find ones that I've missed that meet the criteria. So if we have a group effort, we can all manage to go through all of these exchanges and not miss another humongous supercharged project that's going to go to the moon. Okay, and of course USDT or USDC only. I don't think there's USDC on any other than KuCoin, but it's the $1 standard basically, so we can do the TA. Now, the too long didn't read is this. If you don't want to watch any further, this is it. Here's how we do it. Scan this targeted exchanges daily, every day. Just run through. Find new projects, determine if they meet the criteria, and then find out if it is an active project. Then report your findings to the group. That's the whole thing in a nutshell. Now let's get into details. Here's the minimum criteria right here. It has to be less than a cent in price. A small cap project with the 100x to 1000x potential. It has to be listed on the target exchanges, and it must be a USDT or USDC pairing. And absolutely no pancrap swap or uniswap projects. We're not doing those. We're not dealing with ETH fees. It's not for this group. Okay, now here's the detailed criteria. You want to have a few months or a few years of price history. The more the better. A few years is great, but if it has at least a few months, we can see what's going on with the accumulation or distribution of that project. More on that with the OBV indicator. It has to be listed on the target centralized exchange, of course. I'm going to be hammering that. And it's got to be indexed by CoinGecko with token metrics listed. If we don't have the token metrics, we can't decide if it is going to be something that is worth wasting your money on or not. There needs to be a reasonable circulating supply. And as we know, reasonable is different today. Anything with like a 1 billion supply just a few years ago was absurd. You got no respect. Even if it had a 100 million supply, that was a joke. Back in the old days with Doge having 120 million supply, we were like, that's a joke. It'll never go anywhere. Nowadays, you can have 1 to 10 billion and even upwards of 50 billion. And really, some of these projects can go 1000x. So a reasonable circulating supply and then some amount of daily trading volume. We don't want something that is only trading $5 or $10 a day. We want 50,000, 100,000 or more, something around there, something that's, reasonably getting action. All right, next. An impressive website. Go to their website and look to see if it is quality or if it is garbage. We're looking for typos. We're looking for cookie cutter designs that look like nonsense, or we're looking at something that is well written, that has great graphics and makes a great selling point. We want an impressive website. We want a clear and concise white paper. Pull up the white paper, read it. See how well written it is, and if they make the point without going overboard or sounding like they don't have a good grasp of, speaking the English language. Sometimes they're not good at speaking English, but you can tell that they know what they're doing. So you know what I mean there. Also, we have to have a public project team. No anonymous project team projects will be things that we're going to want to jump on, because those are the ones that can end up in a rug pull. They need to have an interesting use case, all right? And some source of funding for operations. In other words, how do they make the money to pay their project developers so that they can, continue on? All right, let's see here. They got to have a target market for their product. And we want to know, are they in competition with other people and just have like something that is better than what the competition is doing? Or are they in a new niche where they're focused down on something nobody has broken into? Things along those lines. All right, here's the steps. We'll get into that. Look up the project on CoinGecko. That's number 1. Then check the circulating and the max supply. That's number 2. Check the price history. Glance at the chart. Click on the website link on CoinGecko. Analyze the website for functionality and legitimacy. Look into the dev team. Are they active on social media? Check their Twitter. Check their what's the developer website? I can't say it because I'm thinking of it, but you know what I'm talking about. Look for any recent or relevant YouTube videos. If there are none, that's okay, because it might be early on in that project. In fact, the ones that don't have a lot of good video coverage are the ones that have the most future price hike potential. Determine their competition, or if they have cornered the market with a new, unique idea. Determine the demand for the product or the service that they have. Does it solve a significant problem? Does it provide a great solution? Does it provide some new type of product? And check the OBV indicator on the chart, on balance volume. Is it rising or falling? And let us know. OBV sometimes does not tell the truth. Sometimes you can have a project that's in accumulation, but the way they calculate this, it shows it going down and not up. And sometimes it can fool you, but 9 times out of 10, that OBV is not going to lie. If the people who are holding it are dumping it, it's probably not going to be something that'll give us that future 1000X. Then report back. Here's a few ideas of how you can report back on that project. Share your opinion. And it's going backwards here. Give a brief summary of your findings. Post some screenshots, interesting info, pictures, what have you. Share links to the YouTube videos or other websites that are referencing the project. Share any negative info or red flags about the project or the dev team that you find out about. And then we'll flush the bad, we'll keep the good. So there you have it. Do your part. The key to this working is the teamwork. Because again, we don't want to let one project slip through the cracks on those 3 exchanges. And we're focusing on those 3 with this group because that's a lot of work just to monitor those 3. There's so many. Now, if we rank them, KuCoin is the most legit, then Bilaxy, then Hotbit. Hotbit is a garbage exchange, but they include everything, and they can oftentimes be the first ones to list a legit project before they move on to getting listed on Bilaxy and on KuCoin. So you can find diamonds in the rough on Hotbit. That's why it is included. All right, so post your questions if you have any questions about this, and let's go dig up our hidden gems, and we'll all get rich. That's about all we got. We'll see you in the group.